Hi friends, let's take a look at LINK, and as ever we'll take a look at LINK versus the Bitcoin prices and LINK versus the dollar prices. As you can see right now we're at a 50,000 level. We've spoken about that for quite a while. It's good to see that prices are remaining there, but of course our previous chat about profit taking targets up in that 51,000, 52,000 area, well they've been touched, they've been hit, they've come back down. That's good to see. Overall this has been quite healthy, and let's take a look at the dollar prices, and well, we came all the way up as high as what's that say, 380. I mean, that's fantastic. It's exceeded our target expectation, our sort of line, our horizontal line that we had in there at 373. You know, we've come up there, we've gone slightly higher than that. That's been great, and then we've come back down below it. Overall, where are we right now? So in terms of the 4-hour and the USD prices, we're just above the 21 EMA. In terms of the Bitcoin prices, likewise, just above the 21 EMA. We're below this yellow line here on both of them, which is of course a Fibonacci retracement point. We're above the sort of the 236 in terms of a pullback off of this thing on both of them. We would be, so you know, we're doing okay. This green line that we came up here in the dollar prices that we're above is a 382 Fibonacci retracement from this one that's on the downside, from our highs to the lows, you know. So it's just areas. It doesn't really matter that we're looking at in reverse, you know, at this point. It doesn't really matter. It's just kind of like just knowing that these are kind of crucial areas in terms of prices. And if we did break above this, where would be reasonable to look to? Well, $4.18, $4.20, they'd be reasonable to look above to. But of course, we do have that line there at 373. We need to establish ourselves above that, and of course our previous highs at 380 and stuff like that to carry this on up the way. Looking over towards the HIT BTC chart, where we've had some different insights sometimes in the past or whatever to see anything, is it's not HIT BTC, that's Tesla. I'm thinking of, oh my god, cardinal sin, I apologize, I confused two different coins when I'm talking fast. I put something I really shouldn't have done that. Oh my god, I'll never live it down. I'll not edit it out though, because I'm honest. This is the Binance chart, right? Is it? Yeah, and what difference do we have over here? Well, nothing really, essentially. Same thing, same chat. Between these highs over here and the high that we have right now, that's bearishly divergent. We've got bearish divergence showing up in all of them on the 4-hour time frame, something to be aware of. Going back up the way here, you can kind of see between all of our previous highs and our current high over here and stuff that it's divergent. Is that true on the stochastics? Am I being premature? The stochastics have managed to buck the trend there, which is good to see, whereas the others are showing that divergence. We kind of always look across the board and see if it's there on some when it's not on others. It's on the DMI as well, by the way, as it happens, which, you know, is interesting as it's turning over around about this point here. I really don't want to see the red and the blue turn around here as part of a downward trend, but you know, it could be happy enough with this thing if it came in even down to 330 again as part of a sort of higher low during this overall upward phase. I know that that's very zoomed out and hard to see, but we're just kind of talking about the basics here, really, aren't we? Then likewise over then on Bitcoin, is this sort of, I would be happy enough. What points coming in at? Well, I suppose 49,000 would be happy enough as well. You've got the 236 Fibonacci retracement here that would be above, staying above that. You know, that's good. It invalidates this thing, so to speak. And we look towards back up here towards it's underneath the price. What bloody price is that up there? I have to change the chart just so I can get it. It says that it's 70, no, God. 56,000. That's another 10. That's more than 10% move on the way up if that were to play out. And in terms of divergence, though, we have the divergence as well here. We've come up to the top of the bullish control zone, touched it, been rejected, all the way down past our moving average, down towards this neutral line. We want to see it turning around though here, obviously, and then going towards the upside, and that would all be healthy and normal enough, even though in the face of this divergence, because you know this has happened in and amongst the overbought territory, you know, and that's okay. Let's wait until we're sort of in those sort of conditions again before really properly comparing that and seeing if it's divergent or not. But we'll bear it in mind just now because it is. And then go up to the 24-hour chart. And I mean, it's funny to call this overall an uptrend, all this sort of stuff with this. But if this was our higher low, higher high, this is more like a weekly type thing or a 2-day type thing. Let's go to the weekly again, actually. Let's go to the weekly. This is what we did come back and revisit this recently, and this is the kind of, because it sums it up a little bit easier for us to see. I think it's the same point I was making, but it's just way easier to see visually. If the prices need to come up into that 51,000 and properly establish themselves up there to be making this higher high in the weekly, and that would be good, and I'd like to see continuation and follow through from that and actually get a decent enough higher high. However, at that point there, you've got to be, we've got sort of your negotiating team has to be willing to compromise in terms of the higher low squad and what they could be wanting, and that could come in anywhere really quite far down the way. So there could be a lot of volatility in this thing, so we'll have to bear that in mind. Just bear that in mind going forward, should you break past things like the 47,000 Satoshi level. And the same thing applies over here in the USD chart, but it's further away. We need to see the prices actually go up above that 445 area on the weekly time frame to continue this weekly upward trend. But things are going well, and let's not get too crazy, and let's look towards 370 first, and then $4.20 and $4.30 before we then even think about $4.50. But should we get up there, then happily looking at that $5 again, and in fact even beyond. But we'll have to see how things go. The volume hasn't picked up enough here overall at the minute to be satisfactory in terms of these oscillators down below. You'll see that anything coming in here and being lower would be divergent in terms of this upward trend. So so this is not done yet. There's plenty of work left to go on that front on the dollar prices, and translating that back over to the Bitcoin prices as well. It's the same sort of scenario. We're just here at the bullish control zone on the weekly. There's plenty more work that needs to be done here, unless this wants to look like just a divergent rejection from the bullish control zone with a lower high or an equal high in the sort of double top scenario. So that's what you're looking at. That's what's coming down to. And thank you so much for tuning in. Really, I really appreciate it. Hope I've given you some sort of insights or anything like that on your trading today. There's none of this financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. Just kind of showing you what I'm seeing, and then you can make your own decisions off the back of it and run with it. So I hope you get a lot of success out there. Thank you so much for joining me. Share this video with a friend if you've got one that you think would like it. Comment down below. All the engagements, by the way, really need to throw out a big shout out to everybody for all. Massive thank you to everybody for having engaged recently with the channel, and it's all growing and everything's going well. So I really want to say thank you, because that's all down to you. Really, it's all down to you. So thank you so much. I'll catch you in the next episode.